There we go. Fucking hell. Took way too fucking long to goddamn do. Damn. Chicken smoking, A little bit too much of a long line last night. Or I guess this current night. I was like spending part of the night at one of the acquaintances I know at the bar, and they happen to live right across the street. Is sitting on their love seat, and they passed right the fuck out. So I just had to like write a little note and be like, Ellie, doggo needs some food. Doggo wanted some love and like some attention that unfortunately was not able to be acquired. So I had to depart myself. I wrote a little note for her though and be like, hey, and a little doodle too. A little cute little doodle. I swear to God, she doesn't keep that. I'm just gonna be like, bro. Especially as as like, yo, this is a G. He's a cool dude. Don't be fucking this guy. Because she also happens to have a boyfriend too. And it's, I don't want to unintentionally be a hostile individual in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I'm going to be, hands off entirely. But either way, it's like, I'm honestly just kind of appreciate the fact that, like, hey, I'm trustworthy enough to where I can escort a person back straight up to their domicile and take a nap in the domicile too. So I'm just taking that for what it's worth. But she was straight past the fuck out. And I was like, I can... honestly, there's a part of me I was like, do I want to like try to like maybe adjust her so she could be in her bed, like more comfortably? Because she was like, she literally straight up looked like a corpse. She looked like a corpse in her bed. I was like, oof. She went to the bathroom, then she came out with like, this robe, and then she just straight passed like the fuck out. She had her bathroom robe on, and she just straight passed out. I think she wanted to kind of like play around with me a little bit, but she just was like, howdy be gowdy. I was like, I'm just glad for that. I'm honestly happy for that because, like, I know my ass, I know me, and I unfortunately would not be in the mood, especially considering I know that she's technically taken. So I just knew that would not be a good vibe if she wanted to push it that way. But nothing about her, advocacy was saying that. So I was already in that mode anyway. So she was like so lit to the point she was wanting to do that with me. I was like, nope, you're not sober enough. You're too drunk. Nope. I'm gonna let you pass the fuck out. I'm gonna take a nap. I'll wake up as soon as my dog wants to leave. And he was barking too, and she didn't even wake up. I was like, all right, here, let me get your leash on real quick. Be right by my side. Let me write my little note. Let me do some doodles here really quick, and I'll be on my way. And here I am. Man, dude, Friday and Saturday, dude, last few nights at Duffy's were fucking straight up party vibes. I get it, but like, damn, son. It was just so good. The vibes were just like too excelente. Excelente. Motherfucker. Then this song had to play. Party at Ground Zero had to fucking play right now. Motherfucker, dude. God damn it. The vibe, I guess, is going to be continuing even for here. Even though it's like, 4 in the morning? Fuck it, I guess. Because I was going to, make this an unlisted stream for, 30 minutes, but... I mean, if this is how the playlist is going to be, performing tonight, then... probably going to be going for a minute. Party at Ground Zero, that be moving starring you. It's a big stew. Yeah. Do 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 do. This is you say. This is I'll be moving inside you. Then it's all goofy vapors too. Oh no! Let me hear, go grab your gun. Then into the atmosphere today. What? Ivan, go find your man. For the Yankee appeal set out to play. Yeah, wow! Moving sorry you. There's a vapor stew. Yeah. Good for a little dog. This dog has been a curious little bee all night tonight, and the one time he was just like, nah, I'm gonna be sleeping and fucking everything off, entirely was right now. You weren't feeling that way earlier tonight. You were loving that fucking love seat. Dude, the love seat that I was kind of embraced with was legitimately kind of awesome, but I was like, I know that my doggo wants some food. I do not have my charger with me or any of that bullshit. I was like, I love the invitation to spend the night, but it's like, God fucking damn it. But it's like, I was gonna hang with that. I was like, yo, love yous, but I couldn't really hang with that. If I had all my shizzle with me, my charger and all that sort of stuff, I was like, you know what, I would straight up say fuck it. But dude, oh my god, dude, she's gonna be so disappointed when she wakes up. I don't even think she's gonna even remember, me being there, but I'm not even gonna, be surprised, honestly. If she doesn't even remember me being there, I'll be like, well, you did let me spend the night, but my dog would need food. He was like desperate to get some of that food, so I had to walk him home. And it's my note. She'll definitely remember it though, because of my note. Talking to Trump is so desperate that fucking astrologists are trying to, quote, help him MC. Can you elaborate what the fuck you're talking about there, Rip City? Because I know that Trump is so desperate for some assistance when it comes to his support. And, dude, bro, have you heard the recent JD Vance shit recently? Dude, JD Vance is such a fucking unhinged retard that he's just like, childless women. Like, he's literally quadrupling down on the childless women fucking bullshit. Where it's like, nah, they don't even have like a fucking value in life when it comes to an inherent psychological meaning. He literally thinks that like childless women are like straight up like meaningless to society and shit. It's like, bro, dude, I don't know what the fuck Elon, Eric, Don Jr., all these other fucking goddamn psychos. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. How in the fuck how did they convince Trump that, like, JD Vance was the boy? Because, funny enough, Doug Burgum was, unironically, the Burgomaniacs were gonna be, like, the motherfuckers that were gonna be celebrating him being VP. Like, Trump legit was thinking about Doug Burgum being the VP. And funny enough, I was a Burgomaniac. When it came to the Republicans, back in the day, I was a fucking, Jeb Bush boy. I was a Bushamaniac, a little bit back in the day because, of how much of a silly goofball he was. And dude, Doug Burgum was literally equally as much of a goofball. And I was just like, you know what? If Trump had him as VP, I bet he wouldn't even be that bad because Doug Burgum probably wouldn't literally just run shit. He would have been the guy just run shit, and he would have literally been like a John McCain-style Republican or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, weirdly enough, I was thinking, like, if he was going to be the VP, because it was, like, between him, Marco Bot Rubio, and then fucking JD Vance. So it was literally between those three as, like, the final main picks that people were thinking that Trump was going to take. I mean, the main reason why Vance was even there was because of Musk and Eric, Don Jr., but the other, choices were people that Trump legitimately wanted. But nope. I guess Elon, Eric, and Don Jr. were way too convincing, and put a fucking weird dolphin fucker, couch fucker, a fucking weird dude that wants to say that childless women are worthless and fucking meaningless to society and they're scum and whatever the fuck. Like, dude, they got that motherfucker as a Veep, bro. It's like, bruh. Look, Kamala is fucked, and there's a lot of problems with her. And honestly, the more I learn about her, especially leading up, to this election, the more I'm like, ew, gross. But you know what? At least Tim Walz is at least base as fuck, and honestly, it's so hard to even find anything that I could critique about him on outside of like the recent Kamala Tim Walz fucking interview that he they recently did not so long ago, like what, a week or two ago or some shit. Literally beyond that, there's nothing that I can fucking critique about Tim Walz about, because he's actually awesome. He's the only thing that I'm like looking at and be like, please be fucking amazing. And please let Kamala Harris let him have actual power as a vice president. Please. Oh my God. Like, that's the only thing I'm looking up to at this point. Fuck Kamala. Fuck the coconut tree. But I want Tim Walz. You know what? And honestly, I hope maybe in 2028 or even 2032, that he runs for president, because holy shit, he'll be fucking amazing as a president. Oh, I love him. I would love him as a president. But I guess we'll have to see how he performs as a Veep. I suppose. So that's the only reason why I'm kind of a little bit to the Kamala thing, but it's Kamala. Like, honestly, like her record, and honestly a lot of the shit she's been doing recently, now that she's like officially the nominee and all this sort of shit, she is not doing herself any favors. In fact, there was even recent polls that I know Kyle was recently looking up on, and like this shit is literally straight up neck and neck. Now, I was even saying this, when Kamala was, officially nominated. It's like, this is going to be officially neck and neck in the coin toss now. Because if it was like between Biden and Trump, I legit thought it was going to be a Trump mandate through and through. But now that it's Kamala, it's a coin toss. And it's been like that ever since. And I think now, after the, like, we're all lived up, energy shit is kind of, drifted away for the most part, I think a lot of people are realizing it legit is a coin toss. And, I mean, it's anyone's election now at this point. I mean, especially for me, I really do think this way. Like, I mean, I do really think it's anyone's election. I think it could be Trump's. I think it could be Kamala's. I sure shit don't think any of the third party, positions are going to have a chance. But maybe they might be a spoiler a little bit. I mean, RFK dropped out and fucking endorsed Trump. Jill Stein is, not dropped out. She's still committed to, being a Green Party candidate. So honestly, if that's the case, then I'm kind of on the idea of like, getting this fucking party to be like, 5%, so they get some federal budget and shit. Like for the next election to get federal funding. Like, I'm kind of on that boat. I've always been kind of on that boat, broadly when it comes to electoral politics, in the last few elections, but especially now more than ever. Like, I'm more about direct action. Fuck this electoral bullshit, because it has never done us any favors. And, and let's focus on, like, a party that could maybe make the 5%, pass the post, to get federal funding. So the next election, leftists can maybe have a fucking voice. I don't even care if it's a Libertarian Party. In fact, honestly, I think leftists should take advantage of that if that ends up being the case. If it ain't the Green Party and it's a Libertarian Party, leftists should fucking be like, what, let's like go on local, state, county elections, run as Libertarians because they have the federal budget now, and co-opt the entire party. That would be fucking awesome. Because if the Greens are, not going to do anything, then the Libertarian Party is an open opportunity for the leftists and progressives to take advantage of and co-opt. Force the Libertarian Party to, switch from like a libertarian capitalistic kind of style party, and if anything, just like a supporter to the Republicans, switch that entire party into being a genuine progressive lefty party in the Libertarian Workers' Party. That would be fucking awesome. And weirdly enough, I think that is a possibility. I think that's a chance that could genuinely happen. It just depends who gets past the votes, the Greens or the Libertarians. One of the two. And I think libertarians are a lot more likely to do that, and I think leftists ought to take advantage of that. Genuinely, 100%. Like, if the Greens never took that, but the Libertarian Party did, and now the Libertarian Party has federal funding, every leftist, every trade unionist, every like commie, progressive, Democrat, socialist, rad lib, etc., should genuinely, if they're against the idea of the Democratic Party and DNC, should fucking put all their effort into the Libertarian Party and co-opt that party and make it something that's worth a fuck and challenge the Democrats and the Republicans too. Because even if we still have a minutia of libertarian, right-wing, like fiscal conservative type, people and shit in that party, okay, so, and what do you want? Like, I mean, if you want a genuine big libertarian, like, big unity party, this is the way to do it. I mean, honestly, yeah, you might get people that are still, you're not going to 100% agree with, but, holy shit, fuck, dude. This is the opportunity to really build an insane bridge that I think, honestly, can be very fruitful and very productive, because a lot of these libertarian style, like, blue collar worker people and shit that are going to look up to this party are going to see this type of shit, especially if it's, predominantly, towards, their values, like, make sure there's more bread on the table, the wages are maximized, etc. They're going to be in favor of this shit. I've talked to these people before, and this is what they believe in. It's not like it's an impossible idea, and it's not like it's, unfeasible. It's possible. I don't care if it's the Libertarian, the Green Party, or any other party that is able to get past the post and get federal funding. Just any of them. And the leftists and progressives should take advantage of whichever parties able to get past that fucking point and fucking, maximize their opportunity, especially when it comes to the grassroots activism. Because now they got some fuck you money via the federal budget to be able to, throw their weight around a little bit. They don't have to worry about, like, maybe $5 coming the way because someone just agrees with their movement or some shit in a regional area, like, fucking Portland or fucking Minnesota, Minneapolis or fucking Colorado and Denver or whatever, It doesn't have to come from some random obscure, like, weird fuck, that happens to be a student in some city or, like, some resident, born and raised in some place. Like, it doesn't have to come from that at that point anymore. Now it could come from the taxpayer broadly, and now our tax-paying dollars can go into something like this that actually has a fucking voice for us again, because we don't have that right now in this fucking country. In the United States of America, we do not have a fucking voice for the average person, the proletariat, the working class, the blue collar. We do not have a fucking voice, whether it's state, national, or otherwise. We just don't. And that's the fucking problem. Bruh, is Mickey the Rat still in here? I'm like 99.9% sure that Mickey the Rat is still in here. Or maybe he came back in here. 1 and 2. 4chan to some IRL. Like, what, JD Vance? I mean, he kind of is, honestly. I mean, legit, JD Vance is like 4chan embodiment. Honestly, he's kind of 8chan embodiment. He's like 8chan / like Pole / Zoo / fucking everything else in between, dude. Dude, like JD Vance, I'm like convinced that JD Vance is an animal fucker enthusiast, a fucking weird like fetishist enthusiast in general, and so desperate for, you know, some pussy that he is legit a couch fucker. And look, man, I'm a guy that is willing to like use objects and certain different things and stuff when it comes to like, you know, gratification. But like, bruh, a couch, man, a fucking couch, bro, a couch. I'd at least, you know, use actual like devices called, you know, I don't know, the thing the human species have forever called sex toys. You know, JD Vance, I don't know, man. We got things like that. We have them for a reason. Quit fucking couches. Quit fantasizing about dolphin fucking. Just fucking embrace the fact that we have toys for this. Jesus Christ, you fucking unhinged freak. If that was true, so what? It's not anti-free speech. I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not even going about that. I'm just going after about how much of a weirdo, unhinged freak that he is. That's all I care about. Like, he, you know, JD Vance and Trump, like, they're just legit unhinged weirdos and creeps. And just, like, kind of legit freaks. I mean, legitimately. And look, I got no love for Kamala. I kind of have some love for Tim Walz. I mean, I will grant that. But, I mean, fuck Kamala. I don't like her. Honestly, the more I learn about her, the more I'm, you know, just, I don't like her, you know. So, well, you know, fuck her. But, I mean, bruh. If I had a gun to my head and I had to pick and choose, I mean, I'd rather Tim Walz as my Veep versus JD Vance, and that includes Kamala, I guess, being president, I suppose. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, holy shit. I mean, dude, JD Vance is so fucking weird, bro. Oh my god. He literally was like, he tried to retweet, like, oh, this is the degeneracy of America, Bob, or the internet or something, and the only reason why he ever retweeted this whole thing about like some chick, you know, getting humped by a dolphin or whatever the fuck he was looking up, I don't even remember. It's something like that. But the main thing that was highlighted was woman and dolphin in the retweet that he sent. And that means that he directly searched that in, you know, the Twitter's algorithm. So he obviously was watching some of that stuff and apparently has some post-nut clarity and saw that video and went, bruh. He went like, bruh, hold up a minute. And it's like, nah, dude, you were fucking, you know, trying to bust this nut. You're trying to squeak one out, and your ass, you know, fucking got caught red-handed. That's what happened. Like, I mean, you know, like, come on, bro. And he wants to push all this other shit, like, childless women being fucking meaningless and wordless in society and fucking weird like crazy cat ladies or whatever, bro. It's like, bro, dude. He's such a nut. I can't even get over it, dude. Like, you know, fuck Trump, fuck JD Vance. I mean, I kind of am a little more freaked out by their supporters. But, I mean, the comedic aspect of it all is on Vance. Dude, all the comedic shit is on his ass because, oh my god, bro. He is just honestly legit comic relief of it all. I'm just, he just kind of is. He just is. Every time I think about him, I'm just like, you doughboy, little baby face, little freak. That's all I think about. He's just a little doughboy, weirdo freak ball. Self-scripted anyhow. I mean, hey, I don't necessarily disagree with that, man. I mean, I really don't. I think a lot of the shit with the RNC and the DNC and what was going on there with their national conventions and what's happening lately. Like, I mean, I don't disagree, man. I mean, I really don't, because it is definitely like some bunk bullshit. What's been happening. I mean, honestly, I love Sean Fain, but him, speaking at the DNC and then like Sean O'Brien speaking at RNC, like. I mean, like the Sean O'Brien being the leader of the Teamsters, and then you got Sean Fain being the leader of the UAW, and they're both kind of like selling out to their respective parties almost. It's like, man, can we not do this? I hate that shit. Because both of them are firebrand fucking, union working presidents and shit, right? Like, and honestly, both of what they're advocating for are pretty much, hand in hand with each other. Like, I mean, I love what, Sean O'Brien's advocating and preaching for. I love what Sean Fain's advocating and preaching for. I mean, and they're both kind of collaborating with this idea of like, a May 1st, 2020, general strike. And I would love to see that, because that is some shit I fucking want. I'm a trade unionist, blue collar leftist, at the end of the day. Like, I mean, that's what I want to see. I mean, I practice what I preach. You know what I mean? I practice what the fuck I preach when it comes to shit like that, motherfucker. But, because at the end of the day, this type of shit, like, matters to me. Like, I mean, I want what's best, when it comes to, like, people's, bread on their table. When it comes to, like, the rent, they have to pay and shit. Like, we shouldn't have to fucking, be working, like, 2-3 fucking jobs or whatever the fuck, in one job and barely fucking struggling to get by or whatever the fuck. I mean, we shouldn't have to deal with this shit. In neither party, the Democrats or Republicans could not give a fuck about this shit. So that's where, that's why I, distance myself from that shit. I might maybe down ballot. Maybe there are Democrats or maybe certain Republicans or maybe like, other politicians, down ballot, state-wise or county-wise in my, area in Oregon. But beyond that, fuck them. Honestly, like, they're a piece of shit. They're sellouts and they're willing to sell us down the river. So fuck both of them. Fuck both parties. They got no interest in us. They got no fucking, vision that is, it meant, or no agenda is meant, for the broader aspect for the average working class. Like, they don't care. They don't care about this shit. Come on, says Make America Joyful Again, wrote Stephen Carlson. I mean, I'm not really against the idea of things being joyful and stuff like that, but I want something to be joyful for, though. It's like, I can't be just joyful because, like, I'm against, like, Trump and his supporters and MAGA and blah, 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 or whatever. Like, I can't just, like, be, like, joyful because of shit like that. I gotta be joyful for something. It's like, I gotta have, like, something that I'm for instead of just being against something. I mean, that's kind of really another reason why I'm kind of attached to when it comes to electoralism, when it comes to politics like that. Because, like, I can't just vote against shit. I have to be, for something. And neither party is for shit. They're just against each other and just hope that, to galvanize enough votes to be against one party or the other. It's like, no, I want something that I'm for. Can you give me something that you're for something instead of just being against a thing? Whether it's anti-Trump or anti-woke or anti-Dem or whatever, I don't give a fuck. Just give me something to vote for. And then I can, fucking think about it from there. Give me that type of shit. But that's another element where both parties, don't give a shit about us. And don't give a flying fuck about actually addressing the common issues that people feel and people are hurting from. Conservatives remain to manage to dig up an old clip on whilst making an alarming and false alarm. There's no guarantee for free speech on misinformation or hate speech, especially around our democracy. Whilst is wrong, of course, the First Amendment protects American free speech rights designed to distinguish between good and bad information. Sure. I suppose, like, maybe where I might be a little, like, maybe kind of understanding of where he comes from is like the, lack of freedom of consequence. You might have freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean that you have a freedom of consequence because of such speech, right? Like, because if you got a bunch of white supremacists looking at a couple black people just hanging out on the street, and they're like, let's lynch this anywhere, or some shit like that. I mean, if they're doing that in public on the street, then the freedom of consequence of them being kind of getting their shit canned in and beaten the fuck out of is, not prohibited, so to speak, right? Like, because like there are going to be people that are going to take a lot of animosity and a lot of problems with something like that. They got the freedom to say it, but a lot of other people around them that might be just walking by might, take a lot of issue with that. And the freedom of consequence is, not necessarily prohibited when it comes to something like that, right? Like, so, they might get legitimately, and they might get their shit kicked. I mean, honestly, like, they'd be like, what are you saying about these black people? What the fuck you say? What? Mm-hmm. You want to say it again in my face, motherfucker? And they say it, and then it's like, boom. All of a sudden, they just get their ass beat. I mean, and honestly, I'm not really inherently against shit like that, because it's like, if you got motherfuckers out there, it's just straight up being horrible, bigoted motherfuckers like that, then it's like, yeah, they kind of might, get what's coming to them if, someone wants to, walk up to me like you want to fucking say it on my face and fucking whoop their ass, and, I also won't be against that. I mean, I won't overtly advocate it, but that's, the whole point about like, freedom of speech. It's like it also comes with the understanding that you're not prohibited from the freedom of consequence. Like there might be a consequence because of your speech. It's like, and that's kind of the whole inherent, freedom and the right of that. It's like some people might genuinely take issue with that. And, maybe there might be a genuine understanding and genuine reason as to why. Like I said, if you got like a bunch of weird neo-Nazis or whatever the fuck, on the street saying, let's these N-words or whatever the fuck, some shit like that. It's like, so something like that, it's like, yeah, they're probably going to get their ass whooped. It just kind of depends. 5 us versus 5 KK members. It wouldn't necessarily, these days, it wouldn't necessarily just be a 5-on-5. If you got a bunch of, if you got like 5 overt, like, clan, advocating, KKK style, like, Confederates versus like, 5 black folk, on the street, and you got a bunch of random bystanders, honestly, chances are there's going to be a few bystanders that might genuinely step in. If I saw some shit like that, I might even step in. I'm radical enough for it, because, I've been out there, I'm in jailed for justice. I was out there, during the protests in 2020 out in Portland, and I lived at P&W, PDX, that's where my home was. It's like, I've been out there and shit, and it's like, I've seen a lot of crazy, wild shit. Certain things where I knew if I stepped in, it'd be just bad. Certain things where I stepped in where I knew it was right. It's like, so there's a lot of times where it's like, I can understand where, some people might want to genuinely, even if they're a bystander, might genuinely step in. Because honestly, I ain't gonna let someone just get their ass whooped, just because of X, Y, or Z or some shit, Or also because, like, when it comes to, like, maybe trying to, like, have a protest and you got some dipshit trying to, like, start some shit and they have a fight, like, yeah, I'm going to step in, break it up, but, I'm probably going to rough up, the other dude who instigated it, too. I might rough him up a little bit, but also at the same time be like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, quit starting shit. Just go. You said your piece. Now you suffer the consequences from it. Just fucking go. Don't get your ass whooped anymore. Like, get out of here, you know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, we all have the right to that fucking speech. We all do. But at the end of the day, it's like, depending on how it is, there can be definitely consequence from that. It just kind of depends how it goes. And it also depends on, where you are when it comes to stuff like that, right? Like, you might be able to say some scary stuff, but maybe a lot of people agree with you and ain't going to give a shit, right? Instantly have a right to speech. Well, yeah. Well, I'm just kind of going on. I haven't read any of the comments yet. There's some speech. Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah. I mean, I ain't disagreeing with that. Like I said, I was kind of, going off of what I was saying. I wasn't trying to like overtly describe what your comments are. The cops to protect the person who's like saying something around a bunch of cameras. I mean, if all they're doing is just saying shit, then as long as no one's getting hurt, then they don't really need a reason to step in. I mean, I'll grant, if cops were to properly actually, do their job and stuff, because look, I'll grant I kind of tend to have a criticism to, cops and stuff myself. I've had to deal with cops where they were, annoying my ass and were dealing with my shit. I've been arrested by them before. Like, I don't really necessarily have the most positive, perspective or position about them. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like as long as no one's getting hurt, honestly, if it's just words being exchanged between each other and that's it, I mean, they don't really have a reason to step in. But like if they were doing their job though, properly and treat everything equally as and all that type of shit, then if something were to pop off, then they'll just look at the people who specifically started that fucking fight and charge them as needed, and just have everyone break up and just disperse. This whole area right here right now is illegal trespass kind of shit or whatever the fuck, and you can all be over there or this whatever, like you can go to another park, whatever the fuck, but you can't be here no more. Also, speech isn't free speech would be legitimate threats. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's an extent to where speech is limited from free speech. Like you can't yell fire in the theater and stuff like that, right? So obviously there is a limit to it to an extent. This one is 6 long, and I'm more people taking people out of context. So I looked at the rest of the clip. There's it over here. Oh yeah, I know. Because I kind of tend to be a little fan of Tim Walz. I kind of wanted kind of look into him a little bit. Oh man, I kind of looked up the recent scandal of him too. I mean, I didn't look up about what you're talking about specifically, but I did look up the recent scandal of him recently. Where his brother was like, "Oh, I got the details, so I could just drop a bunch of shit on him, bro," and it just was. Oh, he was like, yeah, he had car sickness and would puke on us, so he didn't like to be sit next to him because he would do that a lot. And shit like that. It's like that's not even scandal. That's honestly the most benign shit in the world. Oh, he had car sickness? Oh no. It's what the fuck, bro? Double standards. I mean, yeah. I mean, to an extent. I mean, but honestly, what I like to think of it as is the fact that they are digging so deep on Tim Walz to the point it's oh, he had car sickness once and stuff. Growing up as a kid and shit like that. I mean, I don't know much about this whole idea of him lying about his military service, but I kind of have a suspicion that's kind of bullshit too. I haven't looked into it myself yet, but I'm just kind of have a suspicion that's also bullshit. There's also a few other things that they try to look up on him on where they just aren't accurate. Where I'm just there's so much things about him where I'm can they really find anything genuine when it comes to his hypocrisy? Because there are certain things. I mean, he's a politician at the end of the day, right? So, I mean, he's obviously going to lie about certain shit. But, I mean, the things that they're trying to pull out of him, it's man, out of all the politicians that have lied about pretty much anything or everything about their, history and their career, stuff like that, it's I mean, honestly, Tim Walz is kind of like really at the bottom of the barrel for me. I mean, it's not like a total disregard, but it's just like he doesn't really got a lot. I mean, it's like, because even if there is, a lot of type of shit, about him that's questionable, I mean, at least from what I've seen so far. I mean, again, I haven't looked into every tiny little thing about, like I said, from earlier. It's like I don't know much about his military service and stuff. I know he's a veteran, but that literally is it. I've heard that he potentially lied about it, and that's pretty much about as far as it goes. So I don't know much beyond that. I just heard that he lied about it, and there's like a whole thing about it or something. There's like a few other things I haven't like dig deep on, but at least the very few things I have dug into a little bit, I'm just like, there ain't anything here. Like, what the fuck? Like, is there supposed to be some shit here? And that's honestly kind of how I feel. So I don't know. Like, that's kind of almost how I feel about like some of this other shit. It's like, is there actually anything here? Maybe there is, but maybe there ain't. I don't know. Like I said, I have dug into it. Watch some essays continue the weekend. The predictions on the ballot. I think it's wrestling into this again. We're all asking some inconsistency as possible. Just right to film person. Well, yeah, I'm the same way about that. But that's also why I'm kind of like it. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but like Oregon, at least, because that's the state I live in, been born and raised here. Like our state has had mail-in voting for at least since 94, 92, something around there. Since at least, the early in the mid-90s. And when it comes to election fraud, like there's literally been less than 1% of election fraud, like every year. And like, when it comes to since it's been enacted, like there's been pretty much like less than 4% collectively entirely, when it comes to like every election cycle, when it comes to like, fraudulent voting and shit like that. So it's like, I mean, there's which overall I think it's about 1 to 2, maybe at most like 3 or 4 cases, of fraudulent voting that happens, when it comes to Oregon's voting process. And we have, pretty much, mandated mail by voting. Like every, as long as you're registered, as a voter in Oregon, like, and have a, legal address that, your ballot can be sent to where you can see it. I mean, you got like 2 weeks, to pretty much, like look at that ballot, fill it out, when you want, whenever you got time. You can look up, different politicians, different shit, blah, 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 all that type of stuff in between all that process. But as long as it's, turned in by 8 p.m., at any, ballot box and shit like that, that's it. It's pretty much simple as that. You can literally put it in your mailbox. You can put it at the drop boxes, at any ballot box, like, as long as it's within that 2-week period. And honestly, like, I really do feel like that is the best way to do things when it comes to voting. Like, I really honestly think there should be a federal 1-week voting period where everyone can either go to Dropbox, the ballot boxes and stuff, and they can go sit in line if they want, or they can have it mailed into them, shit like that. Whatever, best suits, the individual and stuff. Like, I think we should have a 1-week voting process where at the end of that week, everything is counted and everything is tallied, and even day by day things are tallied and counted. So we kind of get the the fun electoral football politics of like, ooh, this day this politician got ahead, oh, but tomorrow might be this person, whatever thought, right? So it's like, at least get like a 1-week little process of this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still the same election process, right? But it's just like, you just make it 1 week. And it's like a federal week, where at least, 1 or maybe 2 of those days are federal days off, for the individual to go out there and either vote, whether at the ballot box or vote by mail and drop it off or whatever, however they want to do it. I mean, honestly, I think I really do think that would be the best way to, I think, really kind of solve a lot of this fraudulent voting kind of shit, because like it's pretty. I mean, because Oregon's had it for about almost 30 years at this point, and I mean, every voting process, that I partook in, it's been it's been a thing, and and I've tracked my votes. I mean, because it's something that you can track, and every one of them counted. I mean, every one of them are there, all that shit. So I don't know. At least for me, I do really think mail in by voting, as a mandate is a good idea. At least at minimal. But there's a lot more that needs to go into it, though, for sure. Your messages. I'm talking about a thing. I'm not ignoring the messages. I see them popping up. I just literally wrapped the bow on what I was just saying. It's like, damn. Patience. Patience. That's a virtue, sir. You have to scan, so lasagna's ridiculous score cases that they keep bringing it. Well, yeah, that happens a lot. That's what I say surrounding the consistent improve it. It's unfortunately true during sanctions with the authorities or market territory. At least when it comes to law specifically, I don't know about that. And at least when it comes to that type of shit. So I have to look into that. Supreme Court held that labeling speech as hateful does not render it unsayable. I never said that myself. I mean, people can definitely say that type of shit for sure. There's obviously much more about Spain's so-called election-related misinformation. Loving and hate speech only weakens this kind of further. First Amendment speech would design and protect free speech and government authorities some expressing such grounds. Oh, sure, yeah. But that's why I was saying from earlier. It's like, I mean, it doesn't necessarily protect you from freedom of consequence too, because a lot of the public opinion might feel otherwise. I mean, the government can protect that, when it comes to, the speech itself, which I think is fine. But a lot of the public opinion, a lot of people that might be on the street, or maybe in the business that you're saying shit like that at, or whatever, they might feel otherwise. Samuel Alito wrote in his opinion on behalf of the unanimous court in 2017, the Tall versus Tam case speech that means the basis of reassessment generation. I'm actually not really too familiar with the case, but I mean, honestly, since you specified it, I'm actually kind of curious to look into it. There's some grounds hateful, but the products of the boast of free speech the thought of it, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, like, the whole idea of freedom of speech is to protect the speech that we most vehemently disagree with, not the rainbows and kitties and unicorns and kittens or whatever the fuck we all love and we're all obviously going to be okay with, right? Like, I mean, that's, I guess, part of it is just because of why I kind of emphasize, like, the whole, lack of freedom of consequence from that kind of stuff. Because I think a lot of people really do think freedom of speech means you have a freedom of consequence of such speech. And sometimes you don't. I mean, at least some governmental factors to things, sure. But when it comes down to, like, when it comes down to a public opinion, sometimes people might be like, nah, I'm going to whoop your ass because of this. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you might vehemently disagree with that. And I guess at the end of the day, the government doesn't inherently protect that kind of shit, but it just kind of depends on what it is, I suppose, right? Also, first political figure makes this mistake. Oh, obviously not. Tim Walz is certainly not the first, first guy. Definitely not. Sure, yeah. misinformation, dread, specter of misinformation, especially concern, and given the current moral panic around the concept. Well, sure. I mean, but like I said, at least well before all this kind of stuff. Like, I've never been like a major endorser of the Democratic Party or the Republicans or any party like that, because it's just because they don't represent the average voice when it comes to the working people and the broader average person in this country. Like, I wish they did. I don't give a fuck which party is, but like they don't. And we ought to have at least some sort of a fucking voice that at least can be a wrench and against the fucking voices that are against us, so we can at least have a potential to sit have a say in the shit. And that also includes Tim Walz too, because I do like him. He's one of the more better politicians, so to speak, when it comes to shit like this. But he ain't exempt from my criticism. About range of political topics, so they have often gone away with it. Stop saying contrarian circle. Well, doesn't really make sense, because especially when it comes to like the broader political class that like goes over the average person, like I don't disagree with that, because they've gotten away with shit too much to where we're not getting cut the pie. So I don't even get like the contrarian circle shit about it. From drama, some criticism that would be think our president was found on mistaken of a whole tenet of the country's tradition. Maybe I should have learned something about first one. Look, I guess maybe clarify why I kind of liked him also, because at least just how he was as a governor. And a lot of the stuff that he, pushed as a governor, I really did like and stuff. But especially now, there's obviously a lot of different shit about him. I definitely need to look into it a little bit, but I just, it's one of those things where I just kind of like, want to see what their policies are about. And that's also why I don't like Kamala that much, because her policies, as Attorney General and all this shit, like, I don't like her for that. Like, she's kind of a scummy fuck when it comes to shit like that, especially the more I learn about it. But to Walz, he doesn't really have it as fucked as a record, but there are definitely, some questionable aspects about it. Wow, it's just one of those things where it's like, especially when it comes to our duopoly system and shit, it's like, to get like some basic, like, like crumb or something, it's almost like in a way where I'm willing to like, take anything, but it's like, Jesus Christ. I kind of wish that Tim Walz was the president instead of Veep, because I think honestly, I'd be way more willing to defend him if that was the case, to be honest with you. Because it stands out, like, vice president's never been known to be a strong position in our, any American administration outside of like Cheney or some shit. So beyond that, it's like, there's not really much of a strength to the vice president, position. So that's kind of my main concern. It's like, he's just gonna be a sitting duck, just sitting there, just doing nothing. Say what you want about him. It's like, that's probably just what's gonna happen. He's just gonna be there, just kind of a dude. Maybe do a speech here and there or some shit. Yeah, Joe. That was honestly, actually, if I was actually probably a good diet barista, it's at like what's the percentage on it? Oh my god, 8%. What the fuck? Wish my little battery pack was still alive because I'll be using that to charge this, but boom. Son of a bitch. Man, at least, there's enough time to smoke. Oh, hey, little moth. Oh, shit. Oh. It just flew off. Oh, no. I was going to catch you. I was going to grab you and nab you and show you off, but I guess not. Oops. How the fuck did me looking up I caused that? Ooh, the big little wolf spiders up there. Is the one over there? Oh, yeah, it is. Ooh. Spooderpros are out and active. Well, honestly, weirdly enough, good thing that little moth did not come over here, because I probably would have fed it to the one Spooderbros. Probably this one over here. That one over there has not gotten any food yet. Anyway, let's go for now. Peace out, and just mainly because my phone's about to die anyway, so toodaloo buckaroos, and see you on the next one.